Mexican beaches are for Mexicans, not for Americans that want to come and live cheap in Mexico.
Hello, good people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is A Week in Africa, and I'm your host, Bemo. So, on our today's episode, we'll be discussing about this story from Mexico. The Mexican president, Madame Claudia Sheinbaum, just dropped a bombshell on the white Americans, the people who go to Mexico. They buy property, especially beach property, and they claim to privatize these beach plots. So she was really mad at them, and she told them, you know what, you can come to Mexico, you can buy property here, but just remember one thing: you cannot buy the beach that is public, because a couple of days back, the Mexican people went into the streets. Some of these people who live around the beaches, like, they went in the streets to protest, like, we cannot access the beaches. Why? Because these people claim ownership of this land, of this beach. And you know, in Mexico, the beach is a federal property, so it means that it is a public property, and anyone can access it. And this is not just a problem in only Mexico, about these white people going to buy these beach properties and they privatize everything. This is a problem that is happening at the global south, and people are really suffering, and it is something that people don't talk about. But today we're going to discuss that in detail. So guys, kindly, if this is the first time you're watching me, I'll ask you most definitely to subscribe this channel. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, like this video, so that the algorithm of YouTube can push it to as many people as possible, and we can all share this message and get it. Don't forget to comment, because I'd like us to have the conversation going on in the replay. So tell me what you think about this video. Remember, turn on post notifications, because every day I post new videos like this, and I'd like you to be the very first person to watch them. But right about now, let's just jump straight into the videos, and then I'll be back with my further analysis.
And live cheap in Mexico. That's what Claudia said in the message to the Americans living in Mexico. This is what Claudia said in a mañanera. She has launched a brand new campaign, and she is sending a warning to all the Americans living in Mexico. Take your stupid fences out of the beaches of Mexico. This ain't your beach. The beach belongs to the Mexican people. And that's because Americans go over there and buy a little property, and already they think they own the beach. And so they put little fences obstructing the Mexican people from having access to their beach. And Claudia said, no more. She went as far to say, if you don't remove your little fences, I'm sending some heavy equipment to pick all that crap up. She said it in a nicer way. See, the audacity that you're going to go to Mexico, buy property in Mexico, but you don't want Mexicans around you. The reason why Claudia decided to make this project is because she has gotten enough complaints from the community, from the Mexican people, that they cannot access the beaches because these Americans go over there, put their little fences or mark their spaces, and they don't allow anyone else to access the beach. Even if you buy property in Mexico, the beach doesn't belong to you. And she has also instructed Mexican officials to go to the hotels, Airbnbs. She said she's going to go find any hotel that tries to privatize the beaches that belong to the Mexican people. What you need to understand is that this has been an ongoing problem in Mexico. For too long, the Mexican people cannot have access to their own beaches. Well, during this mañanera, Claudia was like, you know what? You want to privatize a beach? Do it in your own country. But the beaches in Mexico belong to the people of Mexico.
Here's my number one rule for Americans traveling outside the country. Don't be an entitled asshole. If you're not familiar with what's going on there, I'll summarize it for you. This article from 2 weeks ago is exactly what I'm talking about. This restaurant, called Gabby's Restaurant in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, has been in business for 35 years. Along with their business and their culture, they frequently have a mariachi band that plays at the restaurant. That is until recently, when an American couple bought a property next door to retire to and decided they didn't like the mariachi music. So they sued the restaurant to shut them down because they were interfering with their peaceful retirement due to the mariachi music that they've had for 35 years. As of 2 weeks ago, this article is reporting that the restaurant is shut down and fighting to stay open. The obvious message is, if you don't like mariachi music, don't buy a property to retire to next to a restaurant that has frequent mariachi bands. No matter what country that you choose to visit, remember that that country is their country, and you have to adapt to their culture, not the other way around. I've done some past videos about travel safety and doing your research and knowing what to expect. Well, this is number one ahead of all that. Know the culture before you go somewhere, especially if you buy a property to retire there. In closing, all I can say is Gabby's Restaurant, if you see this, I hope you can beat this and remain open. If anyone is in Puerto Vallarta and sees this, please update in the comments and let me know how things are going.
It's crazy that Americans are vacationing in Mexico and complaining about Mexicans for playing Mexican music on a Mexican beach in Mexico.
Please know that less than 1% of Jamaica's population has access to their beaches in Jamaica. Actually, the number is 0.6% of Jamaica's population, to be exact. And why? Because of colonization. Foreign companies have bought out all the beachfront properties in Jamaica, limiting and preventing access of local indigenous Jamaicans from accessing their beaches, their own beaches. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, the hotels and resorts that are getting built is probably creating jobs, and it's creating, tourism, which is creating economic wealth for the country. Actually, 80% of the wealth created from tourism in not just Jamaica, but all of the Caribbean is moved to Western and foreign countries. I guess this is so triggering for me because oftentimes I hear people who will go to countries like Jamaica and go, oh, there were too many people selling me things on the beaches, and it was just so annoying. Actually, a lot of those people who are selling you souvenirs and trinkets on the beaches used to be fishermen. They used to be independent. But because of hotels and resorts buying up the beachfront properties, they have to resort to selling you rides on jet skis and selling you souvenirs. When we're talking about Jamaica specifically, it's not just beachfront properties that are being purchased by foreign countries and foreign companies. It's also the fact that Jamaica is the world's leading exporter of bauxite, which is the ore of which aluminum comes from. And foreign companies have been mining Jamaica's land for bauxite. And it has taken a toll on the land and its people. And now that it's depleted the land, they're looking to move to more ecologically friendly areas of Jamaica's island. A country that is dependent on tourism for economic stability is a country that is still enslaved, and Jamaica is one of many countries. I mean, this is happening to Puerto Rico, this is happening in the Philippines, it's happening in Thailand, it's happening in Bali. The global south is for purchase. If you are unable to draw the connection between what is happening in Jamaica to what is happening in Palestine to what is happening in Congo and Sudan, you are asleep at the wheel. Because we are in the middle of a global crisis, and this global crisis is now going to end up at our borders because people cannot survive this. This is unsustainable. It is actually very emotional to watch these videos of people in Jamaica who are the stewards of the land. They're not looking to be these rich capitalists. They're looking to just be in harmony with the land, to take care of the land, to enjoy the land. They're not looking to build resorts and hotels. They're just looking to survive. And these are the people, the stewards of the land, that are being displaced. And that's happening everywhere across the global south. And I am constantly wondering what happens when the stewards of the land are gone. What happens to this?
Guys, welcome back to the channel. And as I've said earlier, that the problem of seeing white Americans, white people going into the countries in the global south, talk about Mexico, talk about Brazil, talk about Jamaica, the Caribbean islands. You can talk about the countries in Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Madagascar, these countries in Asia, South Asia, like Thailand, Bali, right? So when these white people go to these countries and they buy property, especially beach property, They claim ownership of everything, even the beach. They privatize the water. Like they'll tell you, they have the gas. They can tell you, like, no, you can't swim there. That's a private beach. That's a private property. So something that I cannot understand. And I think this is the problem of capitalism. Let me talk about it. Right now, I'm in the village. I'm in an African village. I wish I can show you where I am right now. It's that like I'm just doing a voiceover. That's why you can't see me. But I'll do a video or a vlog in the village, and I'll post about it. So in the village, you cannot privatize land. In the African village, you cannot privatize land. Land here is owned communally, right? And that's how Africans used to own land. They own land communally. This is a community land. You cannot claim ownership of it. You can only claim ownership of it as a community, as a family. But privately, a single person, you cannot say that this is my land. No, you say this is my grandfather's land, or this is my father's land. This is our father's land. This is our grandfather's land. This is our land. And that's how countries in the other parts of the world have also been owning property, right? So when you see someone coming out of their own country, they get into another country and they don't like the culture of that country. Now they want to introduce their own culture. They want to live their own way. You know, they want to be their own, right? That's something that should ring something in your head, like, okay, let's talk about these people, this couple who went into Mexico, and they get to Mexico, they buy land in front of a hotel, and now they sue the hotel. They say, you know what, you need to stop playing Mexican music here because you can't just play Mexican music. We don't like it, so you need to close down your hotel. And it's so diabolical. Like, how? I don't get it. Like, how would you expect people to adjust to your culture, yet you can't adjust to their culture? Well, they say that when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. It's that simple. Is that too much to ask? No, it's not too much to ask. But when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. So when you come to Kenya and you see people doing enjoying their culture, do what the Kenyans do. When you go to Mexico, you buy land in Mexico, you need to adjust to their culture, because it doesn't make sense why you can't adjust with their culture, but rather you want to change them to do something that is not part of their culture. If you privatize a beach, most definitely you will deprive people their source of livelihood, because most of these communities that live near the ocean, lakes, rivers, these are people who are fishermen, right? So they decide to fish, and they'll sell the fish. Or they maybe use it as a supplement to their diet. So how do you expect them to survive if you want to privatize these beach plots, right? So whatever Madam Claudia Sheinbaum did of Mexico, it's absolutely right, and I agree with her. I can concur with her, and I hope all these world people have rogered that you can't just go somewhere and start to misbehave, because it doesn't make sense, and to me it sounds like something diabolical. Now talk about privatizing, right? You want to privatize land in a foreign country, yet in your country you want to chase people out, because these Mexicans who are in America, they were being kicked out, they were being deported back to their country, and then Americans in Mexico want to privatize land. So where do you want these people to go? You don't want them in your country. You are literally deporting them. It's not just but you're literally chasing them away. And then you go into their country, you want to privatize land, and not just land, beach property, somewhere people can fish and get their daily bread. So it's really absurd, man. So I think it's just one thing that Madam Claudia Sheinbaum did to end this white entitlement, ending the white entitlement. And like, you can just come here, do your shit, and it's really sad. It's really sad, yeah. So they must end this white entitlement. Go to Rome, do what the Romans do. I don't know what you think about this video, but I'd like us to have the conversation going on in the comments. So most definitely, I'll ask you to leave a reply down there. Don't forget to like this video so that the YouTube algorithm can be favorable to it. And last but not least, subscribe to this channel. Turn on post notifications so that every time I post new videos, you'll be the first person to get notified about it. But right about now, guys, I hope to see you in my next video. This is Awake in Africa. I've been your host, Bemo. Peace out.